Hello and welcome to episode 6 already of the Champion Chat series, where we're talking to all our 2019 National Irish Champions. And this has been brought to you by beforemx.com, motoklik.com and Factory Fins. And again, a big shout out to all the photographers that we've been using their pictures throughout the series. So Ian Cairns from Dirt Bike Ireland, Tony Hudziak as well, I think it was Potts Photos, and Buttons Photography as well that we used there yesterday. So tonight, we're going to have our Grade C MX2 National Irish Champion on, and his name is Eoin Duffy. He's only 18 years old, and this is his first championship that he's wrapped up as well. So welcome to the show, Eoin. How does it feel to be the C MX2 National Irish Champion from last year?
Hi. Oh, yeah, it feels good. So it does. It was sort of last-minute decision type thing before we went down, and never thought it would have actually wrapped up the championship. So before the round one, it was I was working in Stevens on the Friday, and we decided to go down. I think we heard on Friday that there was a race on, and decided, I think it was about 11 o'clock on Saturday night, that we were going to go and do it, and packed up the van, left at about 2 in the morning and just got there in time for it. So it was definitely last minute.
Yeah, it was very much a late last minute decision. And I mean, it's a long way to go from out near Belfast there down to Cork City. So if you left at 11 at night, if you made the decision at 11 at night and left at 2 in the morning, what time were you rolling into Cork at?
I think after a few pit stops, I think we got there around 7ish. So we just got there in time to get signed on different wee things and get set up. So yeah.
That's definitely the youth for you there anyway at 18. I don't think I'd be able to do that, to drive all night and go racing all the next day. But that was the first round in Vernon Mount for you, and it was kind of a last-minute decision, as you're saying there. So how did it roll on then, considering that you hadn't planned on doing the National Irish Championship at the beginning of last year? I mean, the next round was Tandragee, and then we're into Robinson. So how did the following rounds go for you?
The following rounds went pretty well. We went to Tandragee with, I think in Burnham, I won the first 2 races, and then the third race I came third. So I had brilliant points going into the second round, and then sort of just went out for fun and see if I could hold the points lead type of thing.
Yeah. Well, as Conor Mullen was saying in his interview as well, it's all about having fun on the bike, and if that's what you're doing, it usually comes easy for you. Just to mention as well that you can comment down below if you want to ask Eoin or myself any questions throughout it, and you've got a little bit of support here already from a lad called Rory Culture. So it says, "Yo, Duffy." So it's nice that you're getting a bit of support here this evening as well. So you didn't always start off in motocross. This is only something that you kind of taken up lately, and before that you're into grass track and Evo events, if I remember right.
Yeah, with the Evos, I sort of started off riding bikes late. I was about 13 when I started riding bikes, and it was 2000. I was 13, and I started riding. I think it was one time the Evos had a race down here at St John's Point, and Stephen said to come along and do it. So we went and done it, and I started on a CRF 150 big wheel. I'm started there and sort of just been racing at the Evos for about 3 or 4 years, I think it was, and then progressed on to like Desert Martin and bigger tracks and stuff.
Yeah. So can you explain to us a little bit, for people who don't know, what's the difference between a grass track event or an Evo event and motocross? What are the differences?
Well, it's sort of the same sort of paddock and different things, but at the Evos, it's all about fun. There'll be no competition. It's sort of just go out, ride the bike, have a bit of fun. And then there's no jumps as well. So, but I find the grass track would be really good for cornering and stuff, for training for motocross. But yeah, I can't really think of much more.
Yeah, but so when you talk about the layout of a grass track, then, so obviously in motocross we've got these special purpose-built tracks with berms and jumps, and everything is fenced out and all between. Whereas grass track, they could just pick a stubble field anywhere and mark out a track with stakes, and then people are let off the race. Am I right in thinking that that's how grass tracking works?
Yeah, it's just rope and sort of posts, and it's not even the same start as motocross start. It's bungee start. So there'd be like a bungee going across, and
So they don't drop you fall from the sky, is it? You're all start
No.
off up high and bungee down onto the track.
Well, then you just sort of take off with the bungee, and then like you said, there's no berms or anything, so you're just going into a flat corner and sort of trying to keep the bike upright, and um and then the body feeds they're quite hard as well, so it's not the nicest when you come off on them, to be honest.
Yeah, they can skin you up good as well. But the Evo event sounded really interesting. So this is something that's just all for fun. So do you think that the Evo events are a good way to get started in off-road motorcycling, because there's no jumps or anything either? It's just around a flat field, so to speak. Is that a good way for people to get started?
Yeah, definitely. Like Stephen would recommend to everyone starting off, just to go to the Evos and try it out. But a lot of people then, they progress and start through the Evos, and then they would go on to the likes of the MTCNI and MRA races and different things like that then.
Yeah, so and where can people find out a bit about the Evo events then, if they want to get involved in this at a sort of a, maybe not an entry level, but a less experienced level? Where can they find out about it?
I think the Evo MX Ireland, they have a Facebook page, and I think you can apply to be a member on it, and then all of the race days and dates and stuff will be posted up onto it.
Yeah.
Normally the races are all around like my sort of area, St John's Point and Clock and Ardglass direction, where I'm from, and then there's a few races in Ballyclare and different places, but it's sort of just wherever they can get a field and what farmers allow them on those fields.
Yeah. No, it sounds really interesting and cool to you don't know what you're coming into every event. They make a different track for you, so there's no like home advantage as such. But there are grass track events throughout the island of Ireland, north and south. So I can't think exactly off the top of my head now any of the Facebook pages that happen for the south.
There's Bush Mills, is it, up in the
Bush Mills
north? I'm not too sure anywhere else though.
Yeah. Okay, we have I just wanted to there's a question here for you, and I want to put it to you, but I just wanted to round out the conversation on grass tracking first. So there's a saying in motocross: jumps for show, corners for dough. So the corners is where you win your races, and the jumps are for looking good, and there's no jumps in grass track. So you being the CMX2 champion this year at national Irish level in your first go at it, do you think it's that corner speed that helped you towards that win?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's sort of where I got the edge over a few other guys. And then sort of jumps, to be honest with you, when I first started jumps, I just sort of winged it and went for it. And a few probably know with racing with me, I'm sort of a bit dodgy in the air, but yeah, I think definitely corner speed helped me a lot, and then starts as well. So it wouldn't be too bad in the start line.
Yeah, no, and as Owen is saying there, a bit dodgy on the jumps. I think that's the 18-year-old spirit coming to the fore again. Take it nice and easy when you get started jumping. Get the technique down. Make sure you're well balanced and centered in the bike so that you've got good control of it through the air. But I want to move on to this question here for you, Owen. It's from a man called Matt McHugh. It's kind of covered up half your face here, but I'll drop the question in a minute. So he says, what's your bike year and model? Do you believe in aiming for a particular brand? And would you say that C riders don't worry about setup too much? Any advice to someone looking to get used to a 15-minute race rather than a casual rider? Thanks and well done. So what's your bike make and model?
My bike's a KTM 250, 2018, and I actually we got it off Roger from the Tachi team, the Connor sponsored by them. So.
Was there a particular reason why you went for a KTM instead of a Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Yamaha, TM, gas, and now?
Well, I started off on Hondas, went CRF 150, and then went on to 250. But I heard a lot of good reports about the KTM, that they were a faster bike and different things. And then I got on to my friend's bike. I think it was at Loch Brickland, and it's a KTM 250. It was 2017. And I loved it. So Stephen gave me a go on, I think it was maybe Dave's bike. And from there on, just new KTMs.
Really, yeah, that's very interesting. And it was nice to be able to have that chance to try out the bikes before you got going. But you've decided to go with KTM. So his next question here was: would you say C riders don't worry about setup too much? So do you think bike setup is important as a C rider?
I think it's important just in all the classes, but to be honest with you, I wouldn't really be setting up the suspension or anything that well because I wouldn't really know much about it, which where the Motoklik and stuff would come in handy, definitely. But yeah, it's sort of just your normal wee oil changes and maybe a new set of tires on the bike. We wouldn't really be doing much more preparation or anything to
Yeah.
it.
Well, I suppose I'm a bit biased in my view, but I think no matter what level of rider you're at, you need to have a good bike underneath you, and that comes to
Yeah,
setup as well. Now, I'm not saying you have to go out and buy upgraded suspension and air to spring conversion kits and everything like that. Although they do give you a benefit even as a C rider, but just the simple things: making sure you have your suspension serviced, make sure your linkage is serviced, make sure that the headstock bearings aren't flopping around the place, that your lever positions are good, your grips are good. All of that could go a long, long way for you as a C. Well, at every level, but definitely as a C rider, you just want that confidence when you're on a bike that a wheel bearing isn't going to collapse or the throttle's not going to stick open or anything like that. I think is really the biggest priority at C level, as well as setup. But as Owen was saying there, the Motoklik device, we're going to help you with all that anyway with your suspension setup. So don't worry, that's coming down the line. And he was saying here as well, so do you have any advice for someone to get used to a 15-minute race rather than a casual rider?
Well, the Evos would sort of be the 15-minute race. So if you're starting off and just riding around fields and different things, just sort of put a few cones out and see what you're like around the track, and then definitely the Evos would be a good job just to go and try out and see if you like it.
Yeah, and I think as well, push as hard as you can, but try and stay out. Back down the speed a little bit, but stay out for the full 15 minutes, and you keep building it up gradually then as well. There's a couple.
Don't go out flat out at the very start, like I've done a few times. Sort of just pace yourself, and if you're in a good position, sort of try and keep the pace up, and then try and save your energy as much as possible for the last few laps, and then to put it a bit down, sort of thing.
Okay, yeah. A few compliments for you here as well. I don't know if you recognize these names, Owen, but Jay Sherry is saying that you're his hero. Owen Lennon also says, "There's my hero," with love hearts beside it. I love you, Owen, from Ben Cope here as well. And then Cathal Duffy wants to know, have you fixed my headstock bearings yet? Which I think is a good segue into our next topic to talk about. So you've mentioned Stephen a few times throughout this broadcast. So this is Stephen Russell of Stephen Russell Motocross. And you work there in the shop with him. So maybe making a few people jealous with that.
Yeah, I think it's a job everyone would love to do that rides bikes. And it's brilliant being able to work around bikes, and I've actually learned quite a lot through Stephen. Like before I went to Stephen's, I couldn't even change the tire or nothing, but thankfully Dave and Stephen have helped me on a lot and showed me the ropes, sort of thing.
Yeah, and this head down here is Dave Russell. That's Stephen's son, who also works there. So it's a family business between himself, Stephen, David, and Stephanie Jane up there, all looking after you, and Owen as well, of course. So do you want to tell us a little bit about how you got started in this job? So we spoke about before coming on, and basically, you're only 18 now, and you're working in there full time, and you got your first gig in there as a student placement, was it?
Yeah, it was through school as like a week's trial, or I've lost the word of what it's called, but yeah, it was sort of, or work experience.
Work experience, yeah.
Work experience. And I loved it, and sort of I left school and went into plumbing, and I'd done it for a while and I wasn't too fussed on it, and I got the opportunity to go back to Stevens. So worked with Stephen now for really, I think it's been a year and a half, and I've never looked back. I love the place.
Yeah. No, definitely. And do you work in just the mechanic side of things, or do you look after sales and gear and parts and all that kind of stuff as well?
Well, yeah, I try to help out as much as possible in different wee things, like even stacking shelves and stuff. And then I'd be in the workshop and washing bikes, and just helping out whatever he needs me to do.
Yeah, so if you're a customer of Steve and Muscle Motocross, you know your bikes are in good hands here now, and Owen is looking after them for you alongside Dave in there. Sponsorship is a big thing in the sport as well, trying to get sponsors on board, and you've been good enough to be able to get Flowgas in as a sponsor fairly significantly. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that support and what Flowgas have done for you?
Yeah, Flowgas done a lot for me, and it's like you said, it's really hard to get sponsors in the sport. But my dad was, through our family business, we have a shop and would sell gas and stuff and deliver gas to different wee restaurants. So through that, we supply Flowgas tanks. So my dad would be pretty friendly with the guys that run it.
Yeah.
And they found out we were riding bikes, and then Dad got talking to them, and they were willing to sort of help out and pay for graphics and just simple wee things, and then sort of
yeah, but the simple things go a long way in the sport. You know, tires, brakes, things like that. They really, really help a lot. You know, so there's no belittling any of it. This is you here then with your younger brother and your dad as well. So your younger brother races the bikes as well.
Yeah, he's on the 85. I think he's moving up to the 125 now. He's supposed to be this year, but I'm not too sure what ways the racing's working with this coronavirus.
Yeah.
But definitely next year he's racing 125s. So
brilliant. Well, it's great to see the support for you from Flow around the country, and you need gas for your household and their investment in motocross here in Ireland. It'd be great to see if they could continue the support throughout the sport if we give them enough love back. The next thing I wanted to move on to then was just what your future plans are like for motocross. So what are you going to go back and do the National Irish Championship good again? You're up to the Bs now, you know, is the target on the B Championship and then the A Championship again, or what have you got in mind?
Well, this year with the 2020 season, we were moving up to the Bs, and we were going to go down and do the Irish and the Ulster Championship and just see how we got on there. But it's going to be a lot more competition and stuff in the Bs. But it'd be good to see where I can or what positions I can get, and then hopefully after a few maybe good years or good races in the Bs, maybe move up to the A's and see what I can do then.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and see how far you can go. It'd be brilliant to see up in the Bs again whenever we get back racing. I don't know what this year is going to look like, if it's going to be completely written off, or if we are going to have a couple of races before the end of the year. I don't know either. So that as soon as I do know something, I'll let you know if I know before you. But you have a couple of other sponsors on board as well that you'd like to thank for support throughout the year on.
Yeah, all these guys are brilliant. They've helped me a lot, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't been able to do the racing, and especially with Stephen. Special thanks to him and Dave. If it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have wrapped up the championship this year. And Desmond Martin, we I done something to the gearbox. I think it was the wee selector I broke, and damaged the bike, so we weren't able to ride, and that was in the practice. But thankfully, Dave was there with his bike, and he lent me it for the 3 races, so I could keep sort of in the points lead.
Brilliant. Well, sound out to them lads for keeping you going then anyway. So that kind of brings it to an end then in our conversation, our episode 6 of Champion Chat here with Eoin Duffy, your 2019 Grade C MX2 champion. Eoin, thanks very much for coming on with us this evening. It's been great to talk to you, and we'll really look forward to seeing you around the paddock whenever we get back racing again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and just to before mx.com, the Classified Ads website for everything off-road. Motoklik.com, the automated suspension setup product that you heard Eoin talk about there a minute ago. And, just a big thanks to everybody who liked and shared our video yesterday. And it went all around everywhere. It was amazing. It was on live Motocross Planet in the Netherlands. 24 MX shared it out as well, and stuff that way. And Gate Drop here in Ireland, Dirt Bike Ireland, CCM, Stephen Russell. So they all have that support. The call was, if you want to subscribe to our newsletter, just go onto our website. There'll be a green pop-up that comes up after 15 seconds. Put in your email address there. That'll let us know that you want one, and you'll be included in all the private videos then on our development and how it's going. And finally, this was also brought to you by Factory Fins, custom helmet fins with your name and number for Bell Moto 9, Arai, 6D, Alpine Stars helmets, as well on Instagram. Keith did it spinning around. I don't know if you got to see it, but you can check all that stuff out as well. Owen, thanks very much for coming on. I'm sure we'll be talking to you again at some stage in the future around the track, but for now, we'll leave it at that, and best of luck for the rest of the year.
Thanks. Bye.
All right. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.